iterations. Now the front of it is your table of contents. So that's kind of important for you to remember that if you want to know what's in here, this is where you go. So if you look at, for example, the Nclex, next generation Nclex test plan down there by number 14. Do you see that down there by number 14? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so go to what page? Yeah, somewhere in the 21, 22, 23, something like that, right? These are very valuable pages because what they tell you is how the test has changed. And of course, it changed 3 years ago. It will change again next year. For those of you who do not get it together this year, it changes in April of next year. It promises, I've gone to the conference, and you are the first people that I really got a chance to even talk about the conference. But I went to the conference and it is not changing dramatically. So it's really a lot of the same stuff. But what is changing, if they can make it by the deadline, if they can actually get this to happen, which I actually doubt that they will, it will be at your house. So the virtual option will be there. And I would imagine that it's an option instead of mandated, because what if you don't have good internet connection? What is that going to be about, right? You need to be able to connect. So anyway, look for that sort of thing. If you just graduated or you really realistically know that maybe you won't be taking it this year, that next year is your issue, okay? Now, I want to point out something that may or may not have been something you already knew based on the test change that was in April, which was a big test change. The last time they did a massive change like they did in April 2 years ago was in 2013. And that year was the first year that EKGs were put on the test. So the major dramatic changes can occur every now and then. Now, so it was 10 years later before they changed it up. Here's what we know. We know that the passage rate is decreasing on this test. I don't know whether people think, oh, well, you know, they're going to give us all the labs, so that part is going to be on the test already, or they're going to give me partial credit, so how bad could it be? But your scores are dropping. Your passage rate is dropping. So do not take this test for granted. It's still a test. Okay, now I want to point something out that I wrote here. Clinical judgment. If you hear this term, you see it wherever you're looking at on different Nclex resources, just say to yourself, that's your case studies, okay? Now, they do make up 25% of the exam if we keep it all the way 100. How do we know that? Well, let's think about it. What's the minimum number of case studies you can have on the test itself? 3. Minimum, I said, right? Minimum is 3. So if you get 6 questions per case study, how many questions is that? 6 times 3 is 18. I failed math too. So here we go. You got 18 questions on your test that are case studies. Are you still with me? Mm-hmm. Okay, so then what's the minimum number of questions you could have on Nclex? 85. Or you could go all the way to the max, which is 150. So let's look at the 85, shall we? Mm-hmm. If you look at the 85, you have 85 questions. You have 15 to 20 some odd pilot questions. So we'll do the pilots. So let's take the 15 away and let's say 70. Now, if you look at 18 and you think of 70, well, 1/4 of your test has been case studies. Now, who gets only 3? Typically, those students who are kicked out at 85 and out and they pass or they fail. They only get 3, typically, because again, it's a major part of the test in terms of numbers. But the average number of case studies for even the 85 and out person is 6. So if you look at 6 case studies times 6 questions each, that's 36 questions you better get right. Okay, so you don't want to go crazy with case studies because truth be told, you actually do better in case studies than you do on anything else. So I think what happened also with the dropping passage rate, is students kind of thought, oh, it's all about the case studies. Take that coffee out of here. You can only drink water, baby.
Okay.
Okay, come on back with some money or receipt. Okay, so you have a situation where people were like freaked out about the case studies. So they did put a lot of energy in case studies. Lots of you did. And you may even notice when you look at your CPR report, that was sometimes the only time you got an above on your case studies. Now, how you know on here was the case studies? Well, that's why I want you to get comfortable with this. There's a section called clinical judgment. Everything under it is case study scoring. So this is where I see people get their aboves, right? This person got an above on one of the case study components, okay? So we want you to just remember, do not put a significant amount of time into case studies, but put enough. Now, what does that look like and how do we do it in the classroom up here in Cleveland? We do it in a fun way because what we've learned is that, well, what I've always known, and I'm sure you know, is that memorization doesn't work, right? You can memorize all day long. There's no fucking way you're going to pass this test. So memorization is only good for medications and infectious diseases, which we tell you to make your note cards, okay? That's the only time actual memorization will help you, okay? Nothing else on this test should you be making a postcard for or a note card for, okay? And somebody's going to win all this crap, so there. Now, so you have to figure that if it's just meds and just infectious disease that we do note cards for because memorization does not win you any points, then how does a student of today's world really learn and make it stick? The application of your knowledge is what the test is going to do. It's not going to allow you to memorize a damn thing. Matter of fact, it even tests to see if you tried to memorize. I don't know if you've ever seen it if you've taken a test before, but sometimes it will ask you something twice. They'll turn around and hand you that same damn question 3 times. What you got to remember, and lots of people don't know, is that does not mean that you got it wrong. That means, let's see if she sticks with her original answer. So if you did memorize, you'd say, oh, they just gave me this question again. I must have gotten it wrong. And then there you go, changing your answer. We know that is the ultimate sin when you're trying to study for a test. You don't change your freaking answer because you should be so sure that that's the answer that nothing can convince you to change it. If that's true, they will find a student who's committed to the original answer that she gave the first time you gave me that question, and that person will turn around and say, bitch, I told you it was this. It's like me asking you 2 + 2. And I say, what's 2 + 2? You say, oh, that's 4. And I switch it up a little bit and say, okay, what's 3 + 1? 4. Ooh, maybe not. Now, you know good and damn well 2 + 2 is 4. But if you're honest, you didn't come to the world knowing that. You had to study that. Matter of fact, you had to do them stupid ass flashcard times tables. Back in the day, we did 100 and they were timed. Okay, so if you old like me, you already know what I'm talking about. So you had to learn that. You didn't come out of mama knowing that. But now you're confident about it. And so when I ask you what 2 + 2 is, you say 4, bitch, I told you that. Now, so what does that mean? That basically means you better know this shit that damn good. When you take your test, you better not be talking about, oh, well, maybe it's not that. You have to know it that well. You have to have really learned it. So what are the ways that we do it here in Cleveland that help our students apply the knowledge? Every single day they get lunchtime homework, right? And I'm going to suggest that you do this. Now, you got lucky because for the last, I would say 5 years, maybe more now, at least 5 years. For the last, show me your receipt, honey, since you're late. Come on over here. Okay, so for the last 5 years, they done took my nurse Jackie off of Netflix because it was originally a Showtime show. And so they took the, hold on, honey. Okay, now you need to find the 250.
Right here.
I was gonna say, no, it ain't right there. Okay, so when you go and you do your application, now you got lucky. So when Nurse Jackie was gone for those 5 or 6, maybe 7 years, I had to switch the game up because I passed so many students on Nurse Jackie.
Wow.
Thank you, sugar. Okay, now, baby, tell her where to find them papers. Now, so Nurse Jackie is better than Grey's Anatomy, but you can use both for your case studies. So as long as you got Netflix, which if you use it on they say if you use it on one thing only, you can pay $9 a month. But so you got Nurse Jackie, which is better because she's a nurse. Now she's a hot ass mess. Y'all pray for her. But she is truly showing you nursing versus my other favorite, which is Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy was great for physiology. So when you're looking at this word here, physiological adaptation, and I'll show you that later, what it means really. That's what Grey's Anatomy was perfect for. Labs, tests, all that shit. But Nurse Jackie, she has all that and prioritization, delegation. She's got management of care. She got the basic care and comfort. She got the non-therapeutic, therapeutic communication. She's everything nursing. So what you're doing, and if you ever catch my videos, which you will see, some of them are based on one of these shows. I just posted yesterday's from class this week, and it's on Nurse Jackie, season 1, episode 2. Okay, the Nurse Jackie season 1, episode 1. I fucking deleted it by mistake. Don't even ask. So I don't know where it is, but I'll probably do it again. But so her approach in these shows is exactly what you need to do the steps of clinical judgment. You need to look at that show and say, okay, let me write down what she said. Let me put it on closed captions too, so you can accurately count what those vital signs were, what the pulse was, what the pulse ox was, what the patient's gas was. All of that's in there, okay? So you recognize and analyze cues. We did one, hello baby, you got my money? Come on over here and pay me, honey. She walked in here without my money. I said, bye. This child just forgot who I was, honey. So recognize, analyze, and prioritize. This is where you are thinking, and I'll give you a receipt in a minute, baby. Y'all show her where them handouts is on that table. Okay, baby. Now, if you look up here, when you look at the clinical judgment and you got 6 steps to it, recognize, analyze, prioritize, all 3 of these are your brain. So I'm going to say that again. Don't worry about it now. It's in your Oh My God package. I better turn, right? You got it in here. Everything is in here. Everything you fucking need is in here. Okay, go on to that channel, child. Quit playing. All right, now, so page 21, you see everything I said is already here. Minimum of 3 case studies, 6 questions each, a total of 18, blah, blah, blah. Everything I said is in here, okay? Now, I want you to turn to page 22, and if we look at the recognize, analyze, and prioritize, they're on there too, so you don't have to write, baby. You don't. You can just highlight, okay? And what happens when you highlight, and let me tell you the importance of you highlighting. When you get home to North Carolina or New York or Washington State or Oregon or wherever you're from, when you get home, you will know Shelly covered that because it's already highlighted. So you'll know we studied that already. I should know this, okay? That's why we highlight. Now, so recognize, analyze, prioritize Nurse Jackie all damn day. Because she has this doctor that's kind of clueless and he doesn't always prioritize. And so she's cussing him out like I would to get him to get a clue. Okay? So recognize, analyze, prioritize are all what you think you are doing with this patient. It requires this. After that, everything else is doing. This is thinking, this is doing, and that's a big deal. So if you look at number 1 and number 2, they always go together, but on the test, when you get your test questions for the case studies, they are separated out. So remember what kind of case study it is. It's called unfolding. It has 6 questions. That's how you're going to know it's a case study. It's going to be building on itself. And it has an exhibit and all this other kind of crazy stuff, right, guys? So the case study is called unfolding. It's going to be building on itself. It's going to have 6 questions in it. And question 1 is going to match this. Every question 1 in every single case study is going to be about recognizing cues. Every question number 2 in that same case study is going to be analyzing cues. Every question number 3 in that case study is going to be about prioritizing hypothesis, and at that point, you're telling the test what you think it is. You literally are suggesting, what is this? Is it an MI? Is it heart failure? Is it placenta abruption? Is it cleft lip and palate? Is it, placenta previa? Is this HELP syndrome? What is this? That's what you're doing here. Then when you start generating solutions, this is your S bar, because now that you think you know what it is, let's go tell somebody about it. Let's try to fix it. Generate some solutions. So let's go ahead and give a little S bar to the doctor or whoever. And let's go ahead and get to thinking about how your role is going to either make or break this dude's stay in the hospital. So now you're thinking about precautions. Should I implement some bleeding precautions? Should I make sure this fool got them yellow socks on? False precautions. Should I make sure we go and look at the labs and things that are coming back? Is he on the tele monitor? Should I have gotten EKG? So a lot of this can be, if you look at it, it says all your little prevention of complications. This is your basic care and comfort. So it says right on that page, non-pharmacological interventions. That is going to be basic care and comfort, the #1 area of failure on Nclex. Okay? So you see all that is in there, all right? Now, when we're taking some action, of course, here's where you're implementing what it is the doctor ordered or what it is you got to do. And in this case, it's one of those first nursing actions for a lot of the questions on the Nclex. See, what you don't want to do is say, call the doctor. That's what you don't want to do. If it's talking about taking action, and this is question number 5 of anybody's case study, you don't want to be talking about call no doctor, because this ain't no damn doctor's test. This is a nurse's test, and they want to see if you have a clue. They're not trying to hear you turf it to another doctor or another person that you think should handle it, because you were supposed to handle that. Okay, you were supposed to do some initial first nursing actions to save folk life, and you done turfed the shit over to the doctor. What was that about? Okay. And a lot of this is like head of the bed up, oxygen, right? Massage the fundus for anybody bleeding that just had a baby, okay? This could be turn to their left. You just never know. It's like, what you doing, period, okay? Start an IV. That's a good one, right, y'all? Especially for GI emergencies. Start an IV, blah, 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 okay? Now, evaluate outcomes on your 6th question in an unfolding case study. This evaluate the patient. This is all about your discharge teaching. What did they say that they understood it? How do you know? You're comparing their medications. So you're comparing the patient's admission status with what's going on now. Did they improve or not? They came in here for help. Did you help them? Okay. Or are they still wheezing? Okay. If you look a little bit further, you'll see EBL. You may not know what that is. EBL, put a little star by that. That's estimated blood loss for any surgical patient. So you're looking at a lot of different things to tell us, is the patient getting worse? Or does the patient even understand the discharge instructions? What comment by the patient should the nurse follow up on? Remember, when they ask you about follow-up, that means they did something wrong. A lot of people got mixed up by that years ago. They did not understand follow-up questions, because what it was is kind of like common sense was what we were applying, not we, what y'all was applying, and it wasn't working for you. In other words, the test had all these follow-up questions, and you was like me. If you're like me, you were thinking, follow-up don't sound that bad. You definitely ain't dying if all I'm doing is following you up. But no, the test actually meant which one of these gonna die. Okay, so follow-up is misleading to you. It sounds like no biggie, make them an appointment, follow them up. No, follow-up is really which one of these will die if you don't get to them first. So just say to yourself when you see follow-up questions, be like, that's another way of saying who should I see first? That's a prioritization question. Okay, don't let them fool you with the bullshit, okay? All right. Now, so this board that I told you to take a picture of has all of the test plan, and that's why this is kind of like separate. This is not part of the 8 traditional test plan components that the Nclex has had since I took it in the 80s. Okay, this shit been on here forever. This has not. This is the only really brand new component. Now, we do want you to understand that while this is about 20%, 25%, up to 25% of your test, it is not hard. It isn't. And it's kind of like the 6 questions are like multiples. So when you get multiple choice, or not multiple choice, but select all, I should have said that. When you get these, think of select alls. Now, we do have a new rule, and I have to give credit where credit is due. We had a little baby from Texas who failed 18 times, and he failed in this component every single time. Like, he got a below in this. He could not get it together with this. Brother man told me when I did his consultation, he told me he was picking meds every time. He was doing invasive stuff every time. Put a Foley in them. Do this, do that. Basic care and comfort is not that, okay? Basic care and comfort is, what are you doing to make the patient comfortable, or doing that is just considered basic care? This is your cough and deep breathe. Basic care and comfort is your cool compresses. Basic care and comfort is crutches, canes, walkers. Basic care and comfort is a lot. You have a packet with it in it, so you're good. But he didn't get it. So now he done took this test numpteen times, and finally he said he watched this video, because there's a whole video on this, because I need y'all to know it. He watched this video, studied it over and over again, looked in the packets, because I even put them in here. Whatever part of the test plan, I put it on the page itself. So he went on ahead and took the test, but he taught me something that day. He taught all of us in class something that day. Because I put him on speaker. I said, baby, what do you think made the difference? He was talking about the basic care and comfort. But he said, I also realized that with the case studies and the select alls, don't choose stuff you don't know. Don't choose nothing unless you're 100% positive that's the answer. That's the key, because what do they do, y'all? They give you partial credit. The problem is, let's take a select all case study. Let's take this one. They give you this one, and they want to know what all do you think it could be, and they gave you 6 options, right? Or I would say analyze cues is the one they give you the most on. But they give you all these options to analyze the cues. Like, would you do this? What do you think this is? What did this mean? Does this mean follow up or not? Okay, now you're looking at each one and you're like, I kind of heard about this lab having this problem with this patient, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't know if she was saying that about this or not. Don't even click it. Then you get another choice. You go, oh yeah, definitely that one. Click that one. Because if you were to click that one that you were kind of a little bit unsure about, they will take your point away. So now you got the second one, the next option right. You got that correct. It don't fucking matter. They took your point away. So partial credit means, yeah, you get credit for shit you answer right, but you get points taken for shit you didn't answer correctly. That's an awful thing, meaning you can come up out of that motherfucker with no points on a case study. Okay, so you want to make sure you're absolutely positive about these questions. And it's usually in here or on a select all. All right. The latest trick that they have been doing, and I'm going to do it with you, so you're not going to worry. You're going to see how it plays out. One of the latest tricks that they've been doing is multiples in a case study. Lord, this test is on some trash. So what they're doing is they're saying that you're caring, which is kind of realistic if you think about it. They're saying that you're caring for 6 patients. And all through the damn case study is everything about the 6 patients. So in the first part, they may ask you which one of these patients' histories are concerning, right? And maybe some of them are concerning, some of them are not. Then they'll ask you things like, okay, so which one needs labs immediately? Or which one needs you to contact the provider immediately? Now you got to go look at your 6 people and think, okay, which one of them is just doing too damn much right now? It's really hard, and maternity is the hardest. I tend to give you that when I give you a little bit of love on that one, so we'll be doing that on Sunday, okay? All right, so that's the latest thing where they give you a whole, well, basically a report on all your patients, and now throughout the whole case study, you running through the day doing your patients. But it's not so easy on paper, well, on computer. All right, so that's that. Now, what I want you to look at is the actual test plan itself, which is on the next page, 23. So in the Oh My God packet, on page 23, are all the components of the test plan up here. If you are an LPN, don't be confused or like, what the fuck is this? I don't know about that. Never seen it. No, don't be confused. RNs, you got management of care. LPNs, you got coordination of care. They're the same damn thing. When you leave here today, you will have your, this weekend, you will have your management of care packet. But every packet that I give you a summary of key points in here. That's why this is the test, right? So if you're looking for that page, you look on ethical legal. That ethical legal page is going to be page, let's see if you find it before I do old school, tell me. 14. So if you look at page 14, I have taken the top issues in management of care, and I have given you these in that 1-page deal. I've done that for all the pink packets, okay? I take all the pink packets and the summary of them is in here, a lot of it, okay? So this is kind of like what we tell you, always look at that Oh My God packet daily. Get to the point where you understand the day of your test. You have studied the Oh My God packet in the car at the testing center. It's the last thing your eyes have seen. You will be shocked at how many questions will come right from this packet onto that test. It's kind of nice. And you'll see that it really does have a summary of everything. You have a pharmacy page. You've got a management of care page. You even got a health promotion and maintenance, maternity peds page. You've got all kinds of stuff. Now, when it comes to management of care, I would say to you that is the most important component. It is not the number one area failed, but it is the biggest, most important component, because whether you're an LPN and you have coordination of care or you're an RN and you have management of care, it is guaranteed to be about 20% of your test. So that means that 20% of this is management of care. Now, this page is the ethical legal page. That's where you're talking about your beneficence, autonomy, informed consent, advanced directives, medication reconciliation, malpractice negligence, blah, 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 right? But if you go to page 6, which is the most important page in the entire packet, you will see that whole page is dedicated towards prioritization and delegation. So on page 6, which is the most important page in the whole packet, so do this for your girl. put most important page, so you don't sleep on it. Most important page. What we're telling you about this most important page is that the entire page is prioritization and delegation. And we go through in this 3 days why this is the answer to all the questions, right? So we're going to really dive into this page today. Now, if you look at page 7, which continues prioritization, management of care, this management of care page or prioritization page is probably the most important checklist for you to know if you're ready. So at the top, put, are you ready? The only way you're ready is if by the time it's time to take your test, this whole page has been highlighted. And we do some highlighting today in class, tomorrow in class, the next day in class. So we're going to cover a lot. But reality is, if you can't tell me something about everything on this page, don't take no test. This page is also who you see first. If it's on this page, it is the highest priority of the nurse. The bold print is even higher than anything else on the page. So the bold print separates the key things you done from in seconds. Now, if you go to page 8, again, this is 20%. So we continue with our management of care, prioritization and delegation. Here, instead of telling you who should the float nurse get, it'll tell you what should the LPN be allowed to do. It'll tell you what the UAP can and cannot do. You may not know that a UAP can do an enema. You may not know that they can do a bladder scan. You may not know that they can do some topicals. You may not know any of that. Well, it's on here for you. Okay, so it's what can they actually do? All right, so you're not doing everything yourself, which gets old as a nurse. Okay, now, so there is how we show you the different ways the test plan comes into view.